In today's video, we're covering US 101 southbound, and we're also going to see that the control cities aren't as bad as one may expect them to be. US 101 is 1,535.27 miles going through Washington, Oregon, and California. That starts in Tumwater, Washington at I-5 and ends in Los Angeles at I-5, I-10, and California 60. It's a little odd we started going northbound, but it's just how the highway is. But besides that, we're now signed for Aberdeen and Port Angeles here. It's weird how Aberdeen disappears on the mileage sign, but Port Angeles is our primary in 35 miles. Here we are switching to an east-west highway, so now we are going westbound instead of northbound. Past Port Angeles, we meet Washington 112, and we're now signed for Forks and Aberdeen. Here we are now switching to a north-south highway again, and we are now finally going the correct direction of this video, southbound. In Aberdeen, we're now signed south for Cosmopolis and Raymond. When we reach Raymond, we meet Washington 105 again, and we're now signed south for Astoria, which is great, by the way. And here is where we cross into Oregon over the Columbia River. When we cross the bridge and meet US 30, we get a state welcome sign, and we're now signed south for Seaside. South of Seaside, US 26 meets its end, and we're now signed south for Cannon Beach and Tillamook. However, Cannon Beach and Tillamook get pushed to third line and secondary respectively, and Newport is now our new primary in 114 miles, which is actually good because Newport is 2 times larger than Tillamook is. In Tillamook, we meet Oregon 6, and we're now signed south for Newport and Hebo. When we get to Newport, we meet US 20, and we're now signed south for Waldport and Florence. In Florence, we meet Oregon 126, and we're now signed south for Reedsport and Coos Bay. When we meet Oregon 241 past Coos Bay, we're now signed south for Coquille and Bandon. This should just be Brookings here, honestly. When we meet Oregon 42, which takes you to Coquille, we're now also signed for Brookings along with Bandon from earlier. In Bandon, we meet Oregon 42S, and we're now signed south for City Center and Gold Beach. What on earth happened to Brookings? Put it back on the sign. I couldn't find anything in Gold Beach, but anyways, past Brookings, we're now signed south for Lower Harbor Road and Port Area USCG. This is literally 1, the worst signage on this highway I've seen, and 2, there aren't even any cities on the sign. Like, come on, Oregon DOT, come on. And here we are back in California. Let's see if the signage is as good as it was going northbound. On our first mileage sign in California, Crescent City is our primary, but I feel like it should be San Francisco here, not gonna lie. When we meet US 199, we're still signed south for Crescent City. Once again, just signed San Francisco, honestly. After that interchange, though, on the mileage sign, San Francisco is now our primary, 354 miles. At I-580's beginning, it is signed for the Richmond Bridge in Oakland, and we are still signed for San Francisco. Sorry for the bad quality. A photosphere is the legit best thing I could get, but here's the Golden Gate Bridge again. When we meet I-80 at its beginning for the Bay Bridge in Oakland, we're now signed south for San Jose. Here we meet I-280 signed south for Daly City, and we are still signed for San Jose, but we now are also signed for the airport. Here we meet I-380 and the exit for the airport, and we're now solely signed south for San Jose. In San Jose, we meet I-880 north for Oakland and south for Santa Cruz and Los Gatos, and we're now signed south for Los Angeles. Here we meet I-680 for Sacramento and I-280 for San Francisco and downtown San Jose, and we're still signed south for Los Angeles. On the mileage sign, Salinas is on the third line, San Luis Obispo is our secondary, and Los Angeles is our primary in 347 miles. And here we are back in Los Angeles at US 101 Southern Terminus at I-10, I-5, and California 60. The control city should be Port Angeles, then Aberdeen, Raymond. I forgot about US 101 alternate beside Long Beach when you meet it, then Astoria and Longview, then Astoria by itself when you meet Washington 401, then Seaside, Newport, Florence, Coos Bay, Brookings, then San Francisco, skip Crescent City, then Santa Rosa and San Francisco when you get a little closer to Santa Rosa, then San Francisco by itself again after passing Santa Rosa, then San Jose, then Los Angeles and Salinas, Los Angeles and San Luis Obispo, Los Angeles and Santa Maria, Los Angeles and Santa Barbara, Los Angeles and Ventura, Los Angeles and Oxford, and then Los Angeles and Thousand Oaks. All these signed with Los Angeles because they're much bigger, and then finally Los Angeles by itself after Thousand Oaks. If you enjoyed today's video, please subscribe. I also have another video on my channel where I covered northbound of this highway as well. On top of this, I have other videos on my channel where I cover more US highways, and I also cover interstates and state highways. And I also look into control cities and see if they're worthy of control city status. Anyways, see you guys next time. Bye!